I want to ask you something a little unusual. Should we actually be boosting boredom in our classrooms? Now think about it. As teachers, we spend a lot of energy trying to prevent boredom. We design dynamic lessons, use technology, add games, videos, anything to keep students engaged. But what if boredom isn't always a bad thing? Research tells us that boredom can act like a signal. When students feel bored, it may mean their brains are not fully engaged, or the task isn't meaningful to them. However, here's the interesting part. That feeling doesn't just shut learning down. It can actually push students to look for something more engaging. In fact, when students experience moments of boredom, their brains often shift into a different mode, one that supports reflection, imagination, and creativity. That's why some of our best ideas come from when we're doing nothing. Think about your own life. How many times have you solved a problem while taking a walk, waiting in line, or staring out the window? That's not wasted time. That's thinking time. And in the classroom, boredom, when used intentionally, can actually help students become more creative, think more deeply, solve problems independently, and build focus and patience. But let's be clear. This doesn't mean we should create boring lessons on purpose. Not all boredom is helpful. When boredom comes from repetitive tasks, lack of relevance, or poor instruction, it can lead to disengagement and low motivation. That's the kind we want to avoid. So what's the balance? Maybe the real goal isn't to eliminate boredom, but to create space for productive boredom. That might look like giving students time to struggle with a question before helping them, allowing quiet screen-free moments, designing open-ended tasks where students decide what to do next. In other words, stepping back just enough to let students think for themselves. Because when students always have something telling them what to do, they don't get the chance to ask themselves, what can I do? And that question is where creativity begins. So should we be boosting boredom? Maybe not boredom itself, but the space that boredom creates. Because sometimes in those quiet, uncomfortable moments, real learning starts.